Hello, that's my name, and this is me, Paul Cookson. I'm a poet and writer. I'm based in England, and this is my back bedroom where I've got all my books, all my poetry books, all the ones I've written, various other things, and I'm going to be reading some poems for you today. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of you pupils in Globeducate and all the schools involved in Globeducate a happy World Book Day. A happy World Poetry Day in my case, because I'm a poet and I write lots of books, and these are some of the books I've written. These are the books I shall be reading from today when I read you some poems. And later on I shall mention how you might write your own poems as well. And most people don't think they're very good at writing poems. I believe everybody can write poems. It doesn't matter how clever you are, how neat your handwriting is, or how good your spelling is. The most important thing is ideas, and we can all have ideas. And the most important thing is to write those ideas down and then try them out. I'll give you an example. I was in a school a few years ago, and on the board the teacher had written the title of the poem they were going to do. This was the title of the poem: Reasons Why I Have Not Got My Homework. By the way, does your school give you homework? I thought so. Does your school give you too much homework? I thought so. So, you might like this poem. You will know the answer to this next question though, because they had written a list of reasons why they hadn't done their homework, and you all know what the first reason is. It's the same all over the world. I'll start the sentence, and wherever you are, finish it off in your class. The reason is this: the dog, yeah, that's right, the dog ate my homework. Number 2 was aliens stole my homework. Number 3 was my baby brother flushed it down the toilet. That sort of thing. But I started thinking about the word homework, and I wrote a poem. I'll be honest, boys and girls, pupils, I think you will like it. I'll also be honest, I don't think your teachers will like it. So it's worth doing. So, next time your teacher asks you the dreaded question, where is your homework? You can safely say, it's at home. And when they say, excuse me, why is your homework at home and not at school? You can safely say, the clue is in the title, dear teacher. Listen to the word that you called it, because you called it homework. Work to be done at home. Work you can leave at home. Work to stay at home. That's why it's called homework. If it was meant for school, you should have called it schoolwork. But you didn't. You called it homework. So it's work to be done at home. Work to leave at home. Work to stay at home. That's why it's called homework. So you do it at home. Leave it at home. Lose it at home. Throw it away at home. Flush it down the toilet at home. Feed it to your dog at home. That's why it's called homework. Hands up if you think that excuse will work with your teachers. Ha. Not a chance. I'll tell you why. I did that poem in a school 3 years ago, and the teacher, in fact, she had a fantastic name. Her name was Miss Strangwood. She sounded like she should have been a character in a book by Roald Dahl. Miss Strangwood. And she said, right, if you can be creative with words, so can I. So, she said, from now on, it's not called homework, it's called do it or else work. And I think if my teacher was called Miss Strangwood, I would do it or else Miss Strang probably would. Anyway, homework, work to be done at, you've got it. One of my jobs while I'm in this country is to write poems about football for the National Football Museum, which is based in Manchester. In fact, my next book is called Football for Everyone. I can show you the cover here. There we are. That's coming out in September. Football for Everyone. And I've got lots of poems about football, and this next one is called When the Wasp Flew Up My Brother's Shorts. If you have a brother, you're probably wishing that a wasp would fly up your brother's shorts. If you want, you can join in with the word shorts. A family fun-filled holiday, seaside football match of the day. On the beach, the score 9-9 when the match went into injury time. We soon forgot our day for sports when the wasp flew up my brother's shorts. We misread that situation. We thought it was his celebration, scoring a goal and dancing about. The yell, the scream, the twist, the shout were all smiles as he cavorts when the wasp flew up my brother's shorts. The moves he made we'll never forget. The bottom wiggle, the pirouette, the somersault, the acrobatics, a million amateur dramatics, out of control and out of sorts when the wasp flew up my brother's shorts. When the wasp flew up my brother's shorts, his eyes bulge wide and his face distorts, worried where that wasp is caught, scared of the sting his body contorts, but the wasp was the one that was most distraught. Up one leg, down the other, relief for the wasp, relief for my brother. Took them both a while to recover, panic attacks and flashback thoughts when the wasp flew up my brother's shorts. Okay. My favourite football team is a team called Everton. You may have heard of them, you may not have heard of them. But Everton are my team. And 3 years ago, I got an email from Everton Football Club. And they said, we would like you to write a poem for our season ticket campaign. So I went to the ground, Goodison Park. I went on a day when there was no match, so I could look round. I went in the changing rooms. I went in the tunnel. I stood by the side of the pitch. I've been to matches. I went to 2 or 3 other matches, wrote down lots of things about where people meet. And then I wrote this poem. I will read it now. If you're interested, you can look up on YouTube Everton Home poem, or go on my website paulcooksonpoet.co.uk, and there's a film. And the first time I saw the film, I was at Goodison Park in front of 40,000 people, and my poem was shown on the big screen, read out by an actor, not my voice, but an actor, but it was my poem on the big screen. And whoever you support, whether it's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Milan, whoever it is, Liverpool, Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Everton, whatever, you always meet at the same places if you go every week. And that's the feeling I've tried to capture in this poem. It's who we are, it's what we do, it's why we're here, it's me and you. It's where we laugh and where we cry and where we shout and gasp and groan. It's where we meet week by week. It's Everton at home. At home with those who care. At home with those who dare to dream. More than just a football crowd and more than just a football team. It's church and it's belonging. It's weekly mass, communion. It's faith and hope and love and more. It's family, friends, our union. At home we know our places, the special points where we all meet, and all the usual faces, the click clack of those million seats, the music before kick-off that heralds expectation, the Z-Cars theme, a grand old team, excitement and anticipation. Not just what happens on the pitch, those in blue on Goodison Green. Important landmarks of our lives are marked by matches that we've seen. Guardians of tradition will pass that baton on. The heroes of the past and the heroes yet to come. The magic moments that we've shared, the joy and pain we've known. It's where we meet week by week. It's Everton at home, because it's who we are. It's what we do. It's why we're here. It's me and you. It's where we pray each Saturday for future hopes unknown, our history and legacy, those times to come for you and me. It's where we meet week by week. It's Everton at home. It's Everton at home. It's Everton at home. And this next poem is not about football at all. It's actually about fish and musical instruments. And the thing is, this poem started off as 3 words. I was doing a workshop where people had to think of things you bought from a shop that had 3 beats. Loaf of bread, can of Coke, bag of crisps. Somebody said tuna fish. 2 words, tuna fish. But when you say it as 3 beats, it's tune a fish. And this phrase popped into my head. Can you tune a tuna fish? I know you can't, but I like the idea. Fish have scales all over their bodies. Musicians practice scales. You have a flat note, flat fish, male voice choir, whale voice choir. A clam could look like castanets. And so these ideas started going round in my brain. I wrote this poem. It's in this book. I'm going to hold this book just in case I forget the words. But sometimes, especially if you have a rhyming poem, if you learn it and start from the beginning, you can get all the way through. I will see if I can do that. The salmon with the hat on was conducting with the baton. It tried to tune a tuna fish by playing on its scales. The scales had all been flattened when the tuna fish was sat on purpose by a porpoise and a school of killer whales. So the salmon with the hat on fiddled with the baton. The angelfish got ready to play the tambourine. Things began to happen when the salmon with the baton was tapping out a pattern for the band of the Marines. There was a minnow on piano, a prawn with the horn, an otter on guitar, looking all forlorn, a whale voice choir and a carp with the harp, a belly dancing jellyfish jiving with the shark. The octaves on the octopus played the middle 8, but they couldn't keep in time with the skiffle playing skate. The place on the bass began to rock and roll with the bloater in a boater and a Dover soul. A clam on castanets, eel and glockenspiel, oyster in a cloister singing with the seal. The haddock had the headache from the deafening din. The sword dancing swordfish sliced off a fin. A limpet on a trumpet, a flatfish on a flute. The kipper fell asleep with King Canute. Barracuda on a tuba sat upon a rock. The electric eel gave everyone a shock. The shrimp and the sturgeon, the stingray and the squid sang a four-part harmony on the seabed. The crab and the lobster clave the claws a flick, kept everyone in time with a click, click, click. Kept everyone in time with a click, click, click. Kept everyone in time with a click, click. Yes, the salmon with the hat on was tapping at a pattern, and things began to happen for the band of the Marines. It was an ocean of commotion of Atlantic proportion, the greatest show by schools of souls that ever have been seen. That's it, thank you. Sorry, did I go a bit too fast at the end? In fact, talking of tongue twisters, I've got a tongue twister about Barry and Beryl, the bubble gum blowers, in this book here. You can either have the slow version, or if you want, you can have the fast version. So hands up for the slow version. No, you want the fast version. You can have the fast, or if you really want, you can have the super cool, mega fast, turbocharged, supersonic version. Hands up for the fast. Hands up the super cool, mega fast turbo. Right, okay, you can have that one. Here we go. Barry and Beryl, the bubblegum bubbles, with bubblegum bubbles as big as balloons, all shapes and sizes, zebras and zeppelins, stuffing sea lions, sharks, baboons, babies in buckets and bottles of biplanes, buffaloes, beans and bassoons. Barry and Beryl, the bubblegum bubbles, with bubblegum bubbles as big as balloons. Barry and Beryl, the bubblegum bubbles, with bubblegum bubbles all over the place. Biggles in bed, on backseats of buses, blowing the bubbles in a bad taste. They blew and they bubble from breakfast to bedtime, the biggest bubble that history traced. Whilst for breath, the bubble exploded, burst on the blast and the heads of the place. That's it, thank you very much. Okay. Obviously, that was very, very fast, but if you want to check all the words, you can buy this book, and it's in there. Okay, so we've had a few points from there, a few points from there. My newest book is this one called There's a Crocodile in the House. Most of the poems are aimed at younger readers, but all ages really. But I'd like to read out one of the poems here. And in this poem, it references lots and lots of books that in England are very, very famous, and I'm sure you'll have heard some of these books. There's references to very famous stories, so maybe you can try and think of which books are referenced in this story. Okay, it's called Picture This. Cover your eyes, don't take a look. Imagine the stories inside each book. Picture the pages, the words we have read, and bring them to life inside your head. Think of the colours, think of the features, the people, the pets, the monsters, the creatures. Think of the mountains, the sea and the sky, perfectly pictured in your mind's eye, like the wand of a wizard glowing with light, the scar on his forehead zigzag and bright, the snow in the wardrobe glistening white, the eyes of a dragon blazing at night, a bear in a scarf, a cat in a hat, an elephant patched, a Stanley that's flat, a pea green boat, a flying umbrella, a hungry, hairy caterpillar, the hunt for a bear, a Gruffalo's nose, a haunted house where nobody goes, a park keeper's hat, a puppy called Kipper, an apple, a witch, one glass slipper, a giant so friendly, so funny, so big, a wolf on a search for a girl or a pig, dinosaurs, pirates, aliens too, a boy called Henry, a teddy called Pooh. Yes, cover your eyes and don't take a look. Picture the pages from every book. Mix up the stories, the words we've all read, and bring them to life inside your head. Okay. And that's called There's a Crocodile in the House. And people often say to me, what are the best things to write about? In a way, the best things to write about are the things that you know. Things like family. So in this book, for instance, there's a poem about my brother Pete and his stinky feet. He goes, oh no, stinky feet. My brother Pete and his stinky feet. So that's obviously a funny performance type of poem. One of my favourite poems is, I think it's probably in both these books actually, is a poem called Father's Hands. And my dad, he was a farmer, very tall man. His hands were massive, really big workers' hands. In fact, this picture here Okay, if you can see that there. Let me just, I'm just going to affect the lights here. That's probably better. There we are. Can you see that? That's a picture of my father's hands there, and he's holding a little seedling there, and you can see his hands are really big, and you see the skin there all gnarled and wrinkled and dirty. So everything in this poem is absolutely true, and like I say, it's from this book here called Father's Hands. Father's hands, large like frying pans, broad as shovel blades, strong as weathered spades. Father's hands, finger ends ingrained with dirt, permanently stained from work, ignoring pain and scorning hurt. I once saw him walk boldly up to a swan that had landed in next door's drive and would not move. Police were there because swans are a protected species, but the police didn't do a thing. But my dad walked up to it, picked it up and carried it away. No problem. Those massive wings that can break a man's bones were held tight by my father's hands, and I was proud of him that day. Really proud. Father's hands, tough as leather on old boots, firmly grasping nettle shoots, pulling thistles by their roots. Father's hands, gripping like an iron vice, never numb in snow or ice. Nails and screws are pulled and prized. He once found a hawk with a broken wing and kept it in our garage until it was better. He would feed it by hand with scraps of meat or dead mice, and he could tell where its beak and talons had taken bits of skin from his finger ends. It never seemed to hurt him at all. He just smiled as it let it claw and peck. Father's hands lift in bales of hay and straw, calloused, hardened, rough and raw, building, planting, painting more. Father's hands, hard when hitting my backside. All we needed, they supplied, and still my hands could fit inside. My father's hands, large like frying pans, broad as shovel blades, strong as weathered spades, and still my hands could fit inside my father's hands. And if I've written a poem about my father, I really ought to do one about my mother. And this one is called I Believe in Angels. I believe in angels, not those who sit on clouds on high, play harps, have wings that sprout and fly. I believe in angels, not those who dress in gowns of white, beneath their halos gleaming bright. I believe in angels, not those who live in far off heaven, but those unknown who we are given, those who shimmer, those who shine, who put their own lives last in line, those whose wings of love enfold us, those who listen, those who hold us, those whose wisdom is imparted, those who heal the broken-hearted. Ordinary angels, like gold that's undiscovered. I believe in angels. Have you met my mother? People often say to me, what is your favourite poem? And this next poem is probably one of my favourite poems ever. I wrote it 25 years ago, just when I had started to become a poet. I have been a poet for 30 years now, going to schools all over the world. I've been to schools in Spain, all places in Europe, been to Singapore, been to Malaysia, all around the world doing poetry. And this has been my favourite poem. Lots of schools have used this poem as their leavers poem, as their school motto, their school mission statement. Lots of schools have posters of it on the wall. Some schools have even painted it on the wall. It's called Let No One Steal Your Dreams. And when I say dreams, I don't mean the things you have when you are asleep. I mean the ambitions, the things you want to do. And don't let anybody tell you they can't happen, because I believe they can. If somebody had told me 30 years ago I would still be a poet, I would not have believed that. Yet here I am. If they had told me that I'd have lots of books and sold lots of books, I wouldn't have believed that. If they had told me my favourite football team wanted to use one of my poems, I would not have believed that. So here we are. Dreams can come true. Let no one steal your dreams. Let no one tear apart the burning of ambition that fires the drive inside your heart. Let no one steal your dreams. Let no one tell you that you can't. Let no one hold you back. Let no one tell you that you won't. Set your sights and keep them fixed. Set your sights on high. Let no one steal your dreams. Your only limit is the sky. Let no one steal your dreams. Follow your heart and follow your soul. For only when you follow them will you feel truly whole. Set your sights and keep them fixed. Set your sights on high. Let no one steal your dreams. Your only limit is the sky. And I'm going to finish with two poems. One's called This Poem is Full of Surprises. Maybe you can use the structure of this poem to help you write your own poems about what will be surprising in your poem, what your poem is full of, all your favourite things. And the last poem is a love poem for reading, especially for World Book Day. So thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed the poems, they are available in these three books: Joke Shop, Crocodile in the House, and the very best of, and they are at my website, paulcooksonpoet.co.uk. So hopefully some of you might want to go there, and if you want them signed, I'll sign them as well. This poem is full of surprises. Each line holds something new. This poem is full of surprises, especially for you. It's full of tigers roaring, and it's full of loud guitars. It's full of comets soaring, and it's full of shooting stars. It's full of pirates fighting and full of winning goals. It's full of alien sightings, and it's full of rock and roll. It's full of rainbows beaming, and it's full of eagles flying. It's full of dreamers dreaming, and it's full of teardrops drying. It's full of magic spells. It's full of wizards, pointy hats. It's full of fairy elves. It's full of witches and black cats. It's full of dragons breathing fire and full of dinosaurs. It's full of mountains reaching higher and full of warm applause. It's full of everything you need and full of more besides. It's full of food, the world to feed, and full of fairground rides. It's full of love and happiness. It's full of dreams come true. It's full of things that are the best, especially for you. It's jammed and crammed and packed and stacked with things both old and new. This poem is full of surprises, especially for you and you and you and you and you, and especially you. A favourite book and a comfy chair. I just can't wait to be with you. Time flies by when you are there. You take me to another world. A favourite book and a comfy chair. You fill my head with images and feelings I can't wait to share. You touch all my emotions. A favourite book and a comfy chair. And where you go, I'll follow. And you can take me anywhere. Horizons disappear with you. A favourite book. A favourite book. A favourite book and a comfy chair.
Globeducate. Shaping the world.